Jason Whitlock has decided to blame George Floyd and pop culture on the reason for why the Uvalde police did not intervene and save the children during a school shooting. Let's dive into it. Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's Rashad Crenshaw back again with another video. Now, Jason Whitlock has now transitioned from a sports commentator to a black conservative political pundit. And in his new career path, he's decided to unleash bullshit from his fucking mouth. He has decided to make comments that no one asked for, and once received, everyone was in shock at the hot steaming pile of shit in their hands. Let's dive into that hot steaming pile of shit. Jason Whitlock says, easy to blame Uvalde police. Real men will accept their role, big or small, in creating, maintaining, and tolerating culture of cowardice pervasive throughout America. Behavior of those officers is a reflection of our collective values. We're pro-choice. Officers made a choice. So he's trying to mix up the pro-choice argument for abortion and police officers choosing not to go into a school and save a bunch of children being shot at. This is a sick human being. This is a very sick human being. This man is putting finances and social status in the conservative community above children's lives and holding police officers to a standard of performance and a standard of employment. This is your job. You are a cop. You signed on the dotted line to serve and protect, and now a school shooter, a mass shooter, is in an elementary school shooting up people's kids, and you don't want to go in because you're scared? You're scared? The kids are scared. The teachers are scared. They are unarmed. There were 19 police officers stacked up in that building, in that elementary school, and none of them chose to go in. They were given the order to not go in, and none of them chose to defy that order. That comes with social consequences. Those children were in there being shot and were bleeding out and dying. And the police made an assumption that was convenient for them. They came to the conclusion, well, we're not hearing any shots right now, so we're just going to assume that, everyone in there is dead and we're dealing with a barricaded suspect. Whole time, a little girl is calling 911 telling them, we're in here, there's 8 of us alive, the rest of us are shot and bleeding, please help. So as 911 is receiving intel saying, hey, these kids are alive, the police are choosing, well, that's inconvenient. Let's just act like they're all dead. So back to Jason Whitlock. He says something even more fucking ridiculous. Our culture has moved such a negative direction in the last decade. I'm not sure first responders were brought up in the World Trade Towers today. Cultural rot has consequences. When you make heroes of people who contribute nothing and demonize those who risk everything. I'm not defending the actions of the officers, but we've demonized law enforcement to the point that there are far fewer rewards for being a hero, for taking risks. When your culture makes George Floyd the hero, real heroes stand down. Cultural rot has consequences. Now, cultural rot is not people martyring George Floyd. Cultural rot is people praising King Von for having 11 bodies. Cultural rot is people emulating Megan Thee Stallion, corrupting people's daughters into acting like hoes on social media, making it harder for people's daughters to be taken seriously by men who want to build families and stable communities. That is cultural rot. But because people like Jason Whitlock, most mainstream black conservatives, view black culture as beneath them and filthy, they don't know what to properly criticize, so they go with the easiest target, a dead man named George Floyd. So he says, because of the demonization of police, the police felt like, well, if we go in there, we're not going to be rewarded. You are not there to be rewarded. You get paid. You're going to get a pension if you serve a certain amount of years in the force. You're going to get paid anyways. You're on duty. You clocked in for the day. That's your reward. There's no participation trophy here. Do your job. Imagine if the Marine Corps said, well, we don't really feel very loved right now by the American people, so we're just not going to go follow the orders of our politicians who told us to go here. Imagine if the Marine Corps in 2011 said, the American people don't care too much about what's going on in Afghanistan, so we've all decided we're not going to go serve anymore. Imagine if the U.S. Army said, man, the American people don't care about the fact that we're in Iraq and Afghanistan, so let's pack our shit and leave. What the fuck? What kind of military, what kind of organization, what kind of martial force operates in such a manner where every decision you make is based upon the glory you might get after? There are people dying in that school, and you want me to believe that if we just piped up the police, they would have went and saved those kids? Is that what it would have taken, Jason Whitlock? That we need to be in there rooting for them with bullhorns and saying, go police, go, for them to go in there and save kids being shot up? Are you serious right now? And then you bring up George Floyd. What does he have to do with this? He's dead. Who cares about him? He's gone. Why are you bringing him up? Why are you bringing him up? What does this have to do with anything? Cultural rot. Because we martyred George Floyd, the police shouldn't go in there and save kids being shot to death? George Floyd's dead. He's not here anymore. Imagine a cop looking a parent in the eye and saying, ma'am, I just feel like, in a society where we glorify people like George Floyd, I felt like my actions of bursting into that room and shooting at the man who killed your daughter before he could have killed your daughter, I feel like those actions wouldn't have been rewarded. I feel like those actions wouldn't have been glorified. And as a result, I decided that saving your daughter seemed like a waste of fucking time. Imagine that. Imagine you being a parent and this motherfucker looks you in your face and says some shit like that to you. Imagine the mind that you would lose. Imagine the brain cells that would go defunct. Imagine just the red that you would see. Imagine that. That's basically what Jason Whitlock is saying. And this is what happens in a culture. This is cultural rot that we're looking at right here. This is cultural rot, where somebody is so in the zone of politics and so consumed by this new career path that he's willing to basically say, well, we're not giving the officers enough of a pat on the back in society, so it's understandable why they let those kids die. That's how entrenched he is in his career. That's how entrenched he is in politics and trying to stick it to the other side. That's how fucked up the world is now politically. That's cultural rot. That a grown man would come on Twitter and tweet this shit. What is wrong with him? Seriously. Now I understand why LeVar Ball said that he shouldn't be commenting on anything other than snacks. Fat ass. This is the type of shit you want to come on social media and say? What is wrong with you? This is sick. This is sick. To read this is unbelievable. This is some of the sickest shit I've ever read in my entire life. This man needs to be fired from the Blaze immediately. Dana Lash, fucking Ben Shapiro, all of y'all who are familiar with that platform, get his ass up out of there. Get his ass up out of there. I'm sick and tired of I'm a black conservative. I consider myself black and right wing. I'm sick and tired of black conservatives being the tip of the spear for stupidity. Stop being at the helm of stupidity. All the other white conservatives managed to tweet just fine about this and navigate this intelligently. Yo stupid ass comes up and says this. And I'm surprised Candace Owens managed to keep her mouth shut and not say anything ridiculous and reckless. But here comes Jason Whitlock to be a crash dummy, to crash out in the stead of Candace Owens, in her place. Sick. Absolutely sick. It makes me ill to even think about the fact that a grown man would tweet this about children dying. If you need everyone to glorify you, for you to go in there and save that child's life, this isn't the job for you. It's not the job for you. Is saving a child's life not heroic enough for you? Like, is that not so deep of a thing? Is it not so deep a love to risk your life for a child that you can't go home, regardless of the praise that you do or don't get from the nation? You can't go home and be happy. I saved those children. I went in there and I saved those children. That's not enough? You need the whole country to be on your sack? Yo, bro. Jason Whitlock, get his ass up out of here. Get his ass up out of here.